first lesson. Here are the 6 keys to creating stunning seascapes. Number 1, start with a well-planned design. 2, create a strong focal point. 3, identify and work the light source. 4, break the painting into sections. 5, follow a workflow order. And number 6, well, this one I'll come back to. The first 5 steps are not sexy, mysterious, or hidden tricks. They are the core fundamentals for your paintings to be a success. So let's look at number 1. Start with a well-planned design. You should put as much, if not more, effort into the draft design as you do when you're painting. It is the number 1 reason why a painting will fail. Not enough planning. If you create a winning design composition, you are halfway to creating a winning painting. This is constantly overlooked by amateur artists. Between you and me, if you come up with an eye-catching and interesting design, you can actually get away with very basic painting. The other benefit of working on a winning design is that you'll stop questioning your abilities during the painting. You know you've done the groundwork, so you can relax and just focus on the next component of the painting. In the course, I teach the 3 methods to come up with the winning draft and what to do to that draft to make it even better. I teach you how to use the elements and principles of design to make it a winner before a brush is even picked up. Number 2, create a strong focal point. You need to create a center of interest or focal point in your painting. This is the area where the viewer's eye will always return to. It's a feature of the painting that usually pops or lures the viewer's attention, either consciously or subconsciously, by utilizing one or more design elements, like contrast, sharper details, or using complementary or opposite colors on the color wheel. Anything that draws the eye. Paintings without a focal point let the viewer's eye drift, usually off the painting. So it all goes back to key number 1, a well-planned design. Your focal point gets worked out in the design phase. You don't come up with this stuff halfway through the painting. I always strengthen the focal point with visual pointers. They're built into the composition to unconsciously lead the viewer's eye to the focal point. Visual pointers can be subtle, strong, and are the best methods to promote your focal point within the painting. In the course, I teach various ways how to position and create a strong focal point. I also cover balancing the composition and for more consideration. Unfortunately, too many of the time we have to do. Number 3, identify and work for the light source within the painting. So where is that light coming from? The direction and the color of it. How does it fall on and affect the look of each component within the landscape? It's another key to your success or failure in a painting. Components have to integrate into the whole to create a complete painting. If your light source is off or undefined, something's going to look at this and your painting won't look right. It's a simple thing, but you probably think you've got covered, right? I guess it's okay if all you want to do is paint some photographs, because all you need to do is follow the photograph color for color. But if that's all you want to do, then you're limiting yourself big time. The real power of an artist is to create paintings that are truly beautiful. So that's where you move from a painter or an illustrator to a true artist that creates memorable work. In the course, I encourage you to step up a level from copying photographs to developing and making the design. Essential number 4, break the painting down into components and work on one component at a time. The course is exact sequence. So this part of the method makes painting very easy. And in the videos, you'll see just how easy it can be. So, time to do your sky, a blend from dark to light. You'll do nothing else. When you do the motion-based mode, you'll focus on that and nothing else. I'll show you the technique and color for each component, and you'll be amazed at how fast your progress is. When you focus in and concentrate on each component individually, you free your mind of unnecessary thoughts, and it will open up and shift into a more natural flow of you. Now you can relax and enjoy just that one part. Number 5, follow a workflow order. Are you all over the place when you're painting, and are you getting mixed results? Like, some paintings turn out really good, and some paintings you don't want to show anyone at all. You're getting mixed results because of the mixed way that you
Play Pandora.
You need to create
Radio.
and follow a dependable workflow.
Old Town Road Radio from Pandora.
Just a young gun with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose.
was dreaming of bigger things and
Alexa?
my own life.
Just that.
Play Amazon Thanksgiving.
Stuck to a winning system. With me, every
I'm not
week I
sure.
create
Oh, yeah. Damn number.
Alexa.
I was like,
the
next.
same manner.
Alexa?
The paintings can be vastly different in appearance, but
Play
they're all produced
Amazon's
using the exact same system.
Thanksgiving
The system you use
list.
has a direct effect on the results that you're
The
going to
playlist.
Every
Thanksgiving dinner
successful
party
human endeavor
on Amazon
follows a
Music.
plan or a workflow. So, as you can see, I'm big on systems. And why wouldn't I? Successful systems are followed and franchised because they're proven to work. If you follow my system, as you develop, you can add organization elements. You can modify it to your own preferences and make it your own. So you can take what works for you and leave out what doesn't. So, if nothing else, start thinking about your
Come around with me.
what works,
Alexa?
what doesn't, and think about what changes
Stop.
can be made to improve your results. Okay, so here's the last and the most important of those 6 essentials. Number 6 is enjoy the process. Painting and learning is a process. So why bother if you're not going to enjoy it? While you're learning, there are going to be some small frustrations. Learning anything new will challenge and stretch you. There's always going to be a few growing pains, but believe me, it's worth it. Painting is a mind game. Those who can develop and train the mind are the ones whose work develops the best. It's a fascinating subject, and I've devoted a whole course on it. And a bit of peer support comes into it as well. It's a big help to have a community that has your back and understands the highs and lows of painting. That's exactly what our support group is about. Currently at 400 members and growing. This community supports everyone's journey to be the best artist they can be. Okay, now that you understand the theory behind the painting, let's shift gears and let me show you a segment from the full course. Here I'll take you through the sequence of how I painted Endless Summer. This one's called Endless Summer. It's one of my favourite paintings and I did it just before opening my first studio gallery. I was about to spend a heap of money to deck the space out, so I thought, geez, I better paint something bloody good now. The design of this one came to me pretty quickly. I started with the wave and built in the elements around it. I ran out of room on the piece of paper on the visual diary and wanted to make the canvas longer so that it matched the size of a few of the other prints that I've done. We'll talk about standardizing your sizes later in the business sections. So anyway, I scanned it and opened it in Photoshop. I extended the right-hand side and added a shrub in the bottom right to balance the big pandanus on the top left. I made some adjustments to the fronds, so you can use Photoshop in more creative ways as you get used to the program. Next move is to bump up the contrast so the line will project well onto the canvas. Then print it onto a transparency and whack it onto the overhead projector. Still in my old studio at this stage, it had great natural light coming in from the side. I grabbed my big coloured pencil and quickly marked in all those lines. This is the first stage of the acrylic block-in. You can see where I masked off the headlands to do the acrylic sky blend, which looks pretty smooth. That's what's going to make the sky oil blend much easier. With the leftover acrylic paint, I scrub in the white water and scuds. Next step, moving from the background to the foreground, I block in the headlands. And we can plainly see the atmospheric influence of distance with the darker value in the foreground. I block the rocks in now so I don't lose the outlines. The rest of the painting is blocked in. A dark to light background ocean blend, a dark to light wave blend, and some lighter fill colours towards the bottom of the painting. And then we're ready to move to the oil paints, or ready to make the next list to begin the oils. Here I've done the sky oil blend. I've also painted in my headland base colours in oil, and I'm making a first pass at the tree details with my small semicircle brush. I move to the closest headland and grab my bigger circle brush. Here you can see the very first dabs as I create the form on the headland. Okay, the headlands are done in this photo, and I've laid in and blended the colours of the wave apart from the top turquoise colour. Straight away you can see the impact that colour has against the more natural headland colours. So I need to blend and merge these two colours and add oil colour to the small wave next. Okay, so now we have full coverage of the smooth oil paints, other than the rocks that is. Here I begin to shape the water. I start with the darkest blue and the bigger brush and blend the hard lines away. I'm working with wet paint over a dry background. And at this stage, I'm making sure that these lines are